Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. My name is Nick. Sometimes when I'm introduced to new music, I am known as the Orbital Alliance.
And I'm Tan, also known as Chasing the Milk.
That's right. And we're back hot, fresh off of a crazy episode from last week, episode 50. If you guys missed it, do go back and watch our previous episode because we did it on location at Yerkes Observatory in Wisconsin. It was super fun. Many of you who are in the chat already were here hanging with us when we did that, and it was so much fun. But we're back to our normal studio sessions like we do every other week. So it's me and Tan hanging out tonight, hanging with you guys, and we're going to continue that talk about space and astronomy and have a good time in the process. Welcome back, Tan. How's it going?
It's good, man. What a nice intro.
Thank you.
You got to nail down, man. You got to nail down.
Flow.
Yeah.
Let it flow.
Good to see everyone here. Appreciate the beautiful birthday wishes to everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tan turned 18 this week.
That's right. So I can finally watch the movie Sinners that I've been wanting to watch for a long time.
You don't need an adult.
Yep.
Dude, happy birthday. I hope
thank
you got to celebrate really well.
Yeah. The big 36, y'all. That's what it is.
Yo.
Big 36.
Oh, there it is.
Money.
I was waiting for. You gotta get used to it, you know. Just gotta.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Harmony. Appreciate it.
Thank
you
for the super.
Yeah.
Those $2. They're for your birthday.
Yeah. Taco Bell, man. Taco Bell fund.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. Tan and I have so many thoughts in our head after last week, and we thought that we would dedicate this episode to kind of debriefing all the things that we have in our experience last week. Even just carrying on the conversation with you guys, because we really missed it. Honestly, there was so much in the chat that happened and we had no clue just because we were not able to pay attention to it. So we're gonna just enjoy our time with you guys tonight, debrief last week a little bit, share some. Dan's having a meltdown. Artie Jones in the chat showing up with 5 gifted super.
I love you.
Oh man,
thank you for the support.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, you guys show up in really crazy ways every week. I feel like I'm always jaw on the floor when we see stuff like that come in. But if you are new here and you do enjoy the program, you can support us directly to help keep the show alive, either through memberships or gifted memberships, or you can give us a super sticker, super chat, super thanks. Those help keep the show funded. We do pay subscriptions, multiple subscriptions to keep the show alive. So every single one of those things, no matter how big or how small, helps us keep doing this, like period. Like seriously. We use a StreamYard service for the actual video podcast. We use Buzzsprout for the audio podcast. We use other services to help create graphics. There's just, this is not free. We also spent money on gear to help make the show better too, particularly for last week. So seriously, everything you guys do matters. So don't think it doesn't, even if it's just like $1. Like it seriously goes a long way, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, well said. Just also want to give a huge shout out to all the donors from Yerkes. Whether you contributed to Yerkes or just our channel last week, thank you so much. It was extremely generous, and man, we smashed our goal. So seriously, thank you guys so much. We see a lot of y'all in here, and just wanted to say thanks. Yeah, and like Nick was saying, what we're going to talk about last week's episode. There's so many things to talk about, and like you were saying, dude, we just didn't have the opportunity to hang out with you guys in the chat as much as we wanted to. It's a lot different whenever you have that guest, like in person. So I didn't want to. It's really hard to just read the chat and like interact / engage with you guys while there is a person present. So anyways, that's what tonight's episode is mostly going to be about. kind of just gathering feedback, and then Nick and I can kind of tell you what we thought of the show. So, yeah, we hope you guys enjoy this one.
Shout out to, I see at least 2 people hanging out with us live on Twitch right now. That means a lot to know that there's some viewership over there. So thank you so much, Eagle Master Arts and Wildfire.
It's John,
John
and Jen. Welcome in, y'all. Cool, awesome, sweet.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, there we go. Princess Tamara coming in saying, whatever, guys.
Good morning.
Also, good morning, and shout out to 4-month member ongoing.
All right. 4-month. I like
Big
it.
deal.
I like it a lot.
Those of you who have been regular members with us at 6 months, you'll get a new star color. I think it upgrades at 1st month, 2nd month, 3rd month, and then at the 6th month you get a new color. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Looking forward to seeing that first one. I can't remember if it's like yellow or blue or purple. I can't remember what they are, but
nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
Hey man, real quick, kind of digging that fresh cut.
Oh,
kind of digging it, man. It's looking dang, dude. Let me see that side profile.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at it, guys. Everyone look at it.
Get it.
Now respect it.
Thanks, man. I did my trip to the barb, and I had to, my barber was out of town the normal week interval that I do it to get my hair cut. So I had to wait a little bit longer. And dude, those extra couple of days, I felt like I had a freaking afro on my head. It was like,
yeah, it's just crazy. One day.
Yeah. Like I feel like, so I get my hair cut every 3 weeks. I would go even more frequently if I could afford it. It just gets expensive. But it was like almost 4 weeks, and like that is just like, for me, like I like to keep myself sharp, and that is 4 weeks is not sharp. That's like it's just out of control. So dude, yeah, like honestly, I feel like I lose control at about 2.5 weeks. At 3 weeks is kind of like, hey bro, get over yourself. It's okay. But like I said, that 4 weeks, it's like red alert.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I feel glad to be reset today.
It feels good, man. It's almost like, I don't know, like just you just have that little confidence, fresh cut.
Yeah, you got a balance in your step.
Yeah. I need a fresh cut,
dude. Go tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe I'll just, you know what I used to do, man? I used to cut my own hair. Did anyone else do that?
Dang,
I would just take some scissors and just be like and I thought it looked cool, but I'm sure if you knew anything about hair, you could probably tell that it was just a total fiasco. But maybe I'll try that later.
I can't say I've ever cut my hair, like my whole head. I've never done that.
It's not too late. He's looking like a detective. He is, man. It's the black frames.
Yeah,
the hair. Y'all better watch out.
Should be writing notes down.
Yeah. Tamara gets her hair cut every 10 years. Yeah, she's got Rapunzel hair.
Really? How long is it? Oh my gosh.
I think it's down to the ground, right, Tamara? Doesn't it touch the ground?
Also, I've had 2 people here recommending a Flowbee.
What the hell is Flowbee?
It's the trimmer with a vacuum attached.
Trimmer with a vacuum?
Who was the celebrity that used it? Was it George Clooney? I think it was George Clooney told a story about that.
Flowbee. It's interesting.
He cut his own hair for like super long time, or like George Clooney, like legend in the acting world, got his own hair. I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him.
I've never heard of this.
I'm pretty sure it was. We'll have to look it up.
All right, y'all. Next investment, we're getting Flowbee.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, enough about the haircuts. But let's dive into last week.
Let's.
Yeah.
Where do we start?
I was about to ask myself the same question, because there was a whole bunch of different angles we could go. And we we'll have to tie this into space and astronomy in some way. But yeah, I mean, let's just start here. Tan, do you feel like episode 51 or 50 met your expectations?
Yeah, it exceeded, but if I can back up just real quick, just in case there's any new listeners.
Yeah.
Last week, Nick and I had a special episode. We filmed in person. We wanted to celebrate our 50th episode on the show here, so we decided to do something crazy. Months before, we reached out to Yerkes Observatory and asked if we could basically shoot at the site, and they said yes. So that's what we did last week. It was super awesome. Of course, you guys can check it out. It's episode 50. But to answer your question, Nick, I think it definitely exceeded my expectations. I knew it was going to be cool, but I think like being there in the moment, sitting with you and Dr. Bauer, there are a few moments you could probably tell on stream, but I did get a little nervous. I don't know what it was. It was just it was overwhelmingly cool. But yeah, to answer your question, absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yes, it checked all the boxes. There were, I would describe it as everything went exactly how it needed to, and we learned a lot. Like we learned a lot from the experience, and I certainly will go into that list of things and want to share that with you guys, so that if any of you guys ever want to do something like this, like that, you can avoid some of those things or prepare in a different way than we did. But yes, I think that we checked all the key items. Like number one, I think the most important thing we needed to do was host a live streamed event that didn't have any hitches. Like the stream wasn't like chugging, there wasn't any buffering or like drop video or, you know, crackly audio, like that. None of that happened. And that's priority number one: host a stable stream, and it worked. So like, I mean, as long as that happens, like I can't be upset. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like in a little bit, we can kind of go over like all the things that did happen.
Mm-hmm.
But like what Nick said, that was a big concern, is internet like lagging down. I even brought my Starlink on. I had to haul this thing with me. Didn't use it one time, but it's nice to have that peace of mind. And also, when we were looking at the forecast, Nick, there are signs that it might have rained, which possibly could have not allowed us to film inside the observatory. These are strict rules. So yeah, like if it was going to be pouring rain, we wouldn't have been able to do it inside the dome. We would have probably just posted up in an office somewhere. So a lot of things had to happen, or I guess had to not happen for us to be able to do it, and it all worked out.
Yep.
So yeah, we got lucky.
Yeah. I mean, luckily in the Midwest, I feel like for the last year, most of the you
good eye.
Yeah, true.
We were seeing if anyone would notice.
We like to shimmy around a bit.
Good eye.
Distribute the energies in different places sometimes. Yeah, like the forecast was real, and in the Midwest, I feel like recently, probably about, I don't know, like 9 times out of 10, any sense of rain in the forecast usually diminishes to like less than half of whatever they forecasted. So if they forecast something that's like, hey, there's a 30% chance of rain, it's basically mean it's not going to rain. And if it's going to be like an 80% chance of rain, it's like, maybe there's like a 30%. So like that adjustment has been pretty accurate recently. And we were watching our forecast pretty closely in the days leading up to it. And of course, the day of, they were forecasting a drizzle in the evening. I'm like, okay, that means nothing. It's not going to rain. And it didn't. So
yeah.
It all went exactly how we needed it to. But right, they did tell us that, hey, we can't do it in the dome if it rains because it'll be extremely loud, and because it's just a big metal dome. So like rain pelting it will sound like 1,000 bullets hitting it every second. And then they also say the roof is prone to leaks, so they don't want to risk any equipment because it's a 130-year-old facility. So the odds of it, dripping water is actually pretty high. So they're like, yeah, we'll just play by ear, but we got lucky.
Yeah, it worked out. And I really appreciate a lot of the feedback here. I agree with you guys. I think it was an awesome episode. Alex says I feel like the doctor's brain power was intimidating. Um, yeah, Dr. Amanda Bauer was extremely sharp, and I would say Alex for the first I don't know, maybe the first half, like quarter of the show, I did feel like that. I felt like I don't know if intimidating is the right word, but it was like, man, she's this is someone like that's super high level. And
Mhm.
Nick and I, you and I were talking about this, but I just felt like she did such a good job of kind of like everything that she was saying made it so you didn't feel like you didn't. She didn't make me feel intimidated. She kind of made it like she like went down to our level and made things even like really complex ideas. She made it really easy to digest. So I didn't feel like she was saying all these big words and saying things that I didn't understand. She made it very, very simple for me to follow along. And I thought that was really special.
Mhm. Yeah, sign of a professional communicator and just an all-around good human being, to be able to do that for others. Show up and provide and give information freely and yet be a relatable presence. Big
Yeah.
deal. It's a big deal.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you've kind of mentioned a couple times like the nerves, and I certainly felt that too. I think both of us really did. And I agree. The same thing happened for me. I felt like maybe it took me about 25-30 minutes to shake that and really settle in during the show. Um, and the funny thing is I am very, I'm trying to think of the right word. I'm typically comfortable with public speaking engagements, talking in front of groups of people, uh, presenting, that sort of thing, especially when it's something I'm confident about or that I enjoy, like space. No problem doing it. Like, heck, even the streams every week, just like this. I'm not nervous at all doing this. Like, when I first started streaming, I remember being a little bit like shaky and like, oh my gosh, I have a camera, in my house. This is weird, like window to the world right here. And I remember every time I would get off the stream, I would feel like this huge sense of relief that I'm not in the spotlight anymore. Like, but that like doesn't happen anymore. But this was like a totally different level of event. And even though you and I had done 2 in-person episodes where we kind of did like dress rehearsals for events like this, I didn't even get nervous during those. I was just like, no, this is gonna be fun. But this was the first time in a long time I felt like I had nerves. And like you said, Tan, I feel like it showed a little bit here and there. I had some shakiness and quiveriness and just those like just those human reactions to tense situations and uncertainty. The stakes had never been higher, that sort of thing. So but yeah, it felt like we really kind of shook that off after a while. But there were a couple other factors that contributed to that. Like, I don't think I was like intimidated by Dr. Bauer's presence as much as I was just having to host a show in front of an unknown size audience. I had no clue how many people were going to
Yeah.
be showing up. I was anticipating it being larger than ever, and it ended up being that way. So it's kind of like, how many people were there hosting a show, like having the effort of thinking and managing, but also the technical side of things. I was like, I have no idea if this is going to work. I have no idea if it's working right now. Is my sound working? Is the video working? Is this dropping out? I have no idea. There's just so many layers to it. So it was more nervous of this like over management of factors in my brain.
Mm,
Was just like, I'm spinning so many plates right now. Sometimes I felt like I ran out of partition to even speak. That felt like the last thing was, I need to talk right now, and it needs to be coherent and serve a purpose.
yeah.
So that's where my nerves kicked in for, but again, like I said, it kind of settled in. I felt way more comfortable, and I think that you can kind of tell that throughout the show. But that's what it takes. And I know next time we go somewhere and do something like this, I can override a lot of that and know, hey, I've done this before. I know how it goes.
Hmm.
I'm okay.
You did good, man. You guys got to keep in mind, Nick was also the one who running the video switcher too. So all those camera angles that was happening, there wasn't some guy behind a desk like doing that. That was still Nick in control. So not only did he have to be mindful of what I was saying, he had to be mindful of Dr. Bauer. He also had to be mindful of the 4 camera angles
Mhm.
that he was switching throughout the entire show. A lot of times, you might catch him like kind of looking down, but for the most part, I felt like you did a pretty good job of just instinctively like knowing where the buttons are. Like
Yep.
if I were gonna ask a question, you just kind of knew to press this one, so you didn't have to look down.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, dude, hats off to you because there's no way. Like if you gave it up to me, I would have been like,
Manny,
oh shit,
Manny. Damn, she's fine as fuck.
oh, I would I would have been pressing all kinds of stuff, dude. So yeah, so like Nick had to allocate a good chunk of his brain power just for that, and dude, incredible, man.
Thanks, man.
I didn't mean to play that one. I was trying to find another one.
I know, it's all good. I was just, I was trying to figure out what was going on. But yeah, the like I've said in those other live episodes, the switching is so much fun. I really like doing it, and at this point in my career, it is kind of like typing. Like if you're proficient enough in typing on a keyboard, you know, like
I agree, dude.
oh,
For
geez.
sure. Hell
We
yeah.
do what it takes. We do what it takes for the team. But like when you're typing on a keyboard, like if you've been doing it your whole life, you don't think about where the keys are. You just type. Like I'm the same way. I've got 4 buttons mapped to my fingers. I know which camera angle is which, and it starts becoming intuitive. Like I know where I want it. But live switching is also live video editing. That's really what you're doing. And I've been editing video for 20 years. You know, and it's you just know you have an instinct at that point which shot you want showing at what moment. In particular with interviews, when you have multiple people speaking or listening, you just get that internal cadence of what would I want to be seeing at this exact moment, this frame to that frame, and this minute to that minute. Because it's not always just, hey, point the camera, pick the camera of who's talking. It's not as easy as that. Like there's a vibe, there's an energy, there's a story visually to be told. That's why sometimes when someone was talking, even if it was Dr. Bauer talking, I just leave the camera on her for 10 minutes because sometimes she had some longer answers. Like that'd be boring. Like I would still switch at certain break points while she was talking. Like I could tell when she was either having an energy lull or there was a moment where I think the audience would value from seeing my reaction or Tan's reaction, but I still want the people to be able to see her. I'll cut to the medium shot. And occasionally, I'd cut to the other people listening. I'm not sure I did that much on this episode, but sometimes that helps enhance the storytelling experience. It breaks up the visual pace and it helps make it more palatable for viewers. So it's not so monotonous and you're not just lingering on one shot. So you're literally editing live. And if you make a mistake, you can't fix it. And I know there were a couple of times where I flubbed it up, where I like hit the wrong shot, just 1 or 2 times in there. I was like, oh, yep, nope, just go to the next one. But it's going to happen. So, but it's still fun. That was one of my big learnings though, is I'm okay with doing that live when it's just you and I, but I think when we have a guest in the future, I want to source that to somebody else who I can trust, who can tackle that, have that same intuition. I'm not sure we're there yet because, then we start like hiring full crew, and that starts.
We can pay him with Taco Bell maybe at first.
Yeah.
We're looking for interns that are solely interested in working for us for Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's one less thing you have to worry about.
For sure.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
I would love to have a hands-free hosting experience in the next one if I can, but depends on where we are. So who knows?
You did awesome.
Thanks,
there's a few comments here that we want to just showcase. Maybe we'll kind of just gloss through this. I really like this one here. You know what? I prefer people that are real and not perfect, like the nervous mistakes, because then I don't feel like I always have to be perfect. I appreciate that so much because I don't know. Me personally, Nick, that is something that I think most creators are always going to kind of nitpick, is like how we present ourselves. And obviously, at the end of the day, we're going to try to do our best.
Mhm.
I will try to, do my best. But sometimes that doesn't happen, and I think it's okay.
Yep.
Sure, it sucks. And maybe it could have been like a award-winning interview, but whenever that isn't the case, then it's okay because you're right. It's like we're humans, so
Yeah.
I do
Yep.
appreciate that, Jen.
I recently saw a clip from Simon Sinek. If you guys are familiar with him, shout out in the chat if you're aware of who he is. He's a speaker and kind of a leadership coach and a vision coach professionally. He became really famous for some like TED Talks or a TED Talk like years and years and years ago. He's an author. Been a big fan of his work, and I follow him on social media, for a very long time. But he posted a video recently where he was talking about how the common understanding of public speaking is you are as successful as how many ums that you would omit from your speaking. Like the sign of a professional speaker is that they don't have any ums. But see, I'm doing it myself. But he was making the point that he actually like advocates for the ums in the speech because it makes him sound more normal and more relatable, and that actually is a subtle connection point between the listener and himself as he's speaking, whether it's in a video or on stage. And I never thought about it kind of like that. I always thought, hey, yeah, like, man, I must and ha and whatever so much. All those filler words are signs that I'm a poor speaker and not there. But maybe it actually makes me more relatable than I think. So I think it's a good learning. And certainly we had plenty of those moments where we didn't have the perfect thing to say at the perfect moment, but that's just natural.
Yeah. Um, it's just funny because it's ironic that I just said and I was trying really hard not to say
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
It's okay. Yeah, take a moment,
Oh,
dude.
there
Mhm.
was a comment here that let me scroll back.
Okay.
Tamara asked what didn't go right. And I'm trying to
Mm.
find that comment here.
Oh yeah, here 927. What didn't go as you guys planned? Here it is.
Man, where do we start? Well, I'm not embarrassed to start off with the biggest thing. I forgot to bring this microphone. We had plans to have mics obviously for me, Nick, and then our guest. So when you're planning for a trip to do a podcast, bringing your microphone is probably like it's probably important. I ended up bringing a backup. So the plan was to bring this mic and a backup mic. Just again, we love backups. We had backup extension cables, backup cables. We had a backup for almost everything. Backup camera, but instead of bringing both the microphones, I just only brought my backup. So that was the number one, and number two. While we were kind of setting up for the show, we were using my backup mic, and I realized that I didn't have the proper adapter. So the mic wasn't able to attach to any arm like this or a tripod or any kind of stand. I would have had to like physically hold the microphone, or we would have had to duct tape the microphone to a stand, and that would have looked really jaggy. So while Nick and Kiffer were kind of setting up, me and Godfather, he ended up coming up. Godfather Astro Joe, he ended up taking me to a music store so we could pick up the right piece just hours before the show.
Yep.
So I would say that was obviously on me, but that was probably one of the biggest things that didn't go as planned. Is how the heck did I forget a microphone for a podcast show? And I think there were maybe some other ones sprinkled in there, Nick.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think we were originally going to use your Canon camera as one of our things, and you forgot the cable adapter for the HDMI.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would I actually thought that camera like in my head, that camera was a backup camera, but on paper, like we were gonna use one of those. We actually had to outsource another camera, and
Yep.
luckily, Nick had some connections where we can run a backup camera. So
Yep.
it doesn't look great, but man, you know, it is what it is. You just own up to it and hope that you're more prepared next time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that stuff is guaranteed to happen no matter what. There's always going to be stuff. You can't 100% every effort, and we knew that. So we were okay with it. And you came in on Saturday 2 days before. So we had time to problem solve a lot of that, you know. And we
Yeah.
were actually like hunting on Facebook Marketplace for microphones to like buy
Yeah,
on the spot.
we
Because we
messaged
were like-
someone.
we
We
actually
made
did
it. We
research.
made an offer, dude.
Yeah, we did. We were going to pick it up, but the person never replied to us. So that was a fun little story. But we were actually going to buy 2 brand new mic. Well, not they were basically brand new, but just to have them.
Yeah,
Because we had options, but they were hits. Like the microphones. Let's be clear. The microphone that Tan has, the Shure SM7B, is like the industry standard for talk shows and podcasts. Like it is literally the standard. Look at almost any professional podcast, and they're rocking that microphone that Tan has. So we were pretty stoked that we're going to have that one. Also, Kiffer, our friend who crewed for us, he has one as well because he's a streamer. So we're like, hey, we got 2 SM7Bs. That's fantastic. And then I was just going to rock my mic, which is a cheaper mic. It's not that great, but I was like, you know what, whatever. I don't have $400 extra. Yeah. And I was like, okay, great. But then, so not having it was a hit. So we were like, it would be worth it to actually try to source another SM7B because it was like, it's that important to try to make sure this sounds as good as it can. But that's okay. We also had flexibility is so important. And being like, okay with, hey, it doesn't have to be A+, we can roll with the punches, and sometimes, hey, a B+ is all you need, and you can always level up next time,
yeah. I would say that was probably the hardest thing to accept. Because at one point I was like, man, I don't want to let down like my partner. Like we planned so long for this, and it's like, holy crap, I didn't bring a microphone. Like, are we not going to be able to do this? This is terrifying, dude.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You plan so hard, and just something as small as forgetting something like that could, like it could definitely ruin the whole project. But I think, one, it definitely helped that Nick was super chill about it. But 2, you kind of just have to just think on your feet and then you improvise. You have to be okay with getting that B plus, whatever, right?
Mhm.
We shoot high. If we miss, then that's fine. But we're still gonna like do our best to, give the best show as much as we can under the circumstances. And yeah, man, we ended up doing it somehow, which
Yeah.
is incredible.
Totally. Well, I think one of the things is, I remember the moment we were chilling on my couch in my living room when you literally had a panic moment. You're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what? You're like, I forgot something important. I'm like, what did you forget? You're like, I forgot my microphone. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's a big deal. But I was like, at the same time, like panicking and freaking out is just never helpful to anybody. So like we were able to have the space to troubleshoot, problem solve when stuff like this happens, without the like overreactions or crazy emotions or anything like that. Like, it's okay. There's always a solution. But as much time as you can give yourself with a calm, clear mind, like the better. So like, why not fight for every second of being clear-minded and just work the problem? It's all you have to do is work the problem.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like a similar analogy would be like whenever your child like falls and you're like, okay, don't freak out, and maybe they won't freak out. It's kind of like that. Like, dude, if you would have freaked out, I probably would have freaked out even more. Like,
Yeah.
no, he hates me. We're
For sure.
we're screwed.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
But he didn't. So I was like, okay, it sucks, but maybe we can compromise. Maybe we can figure out plan B,
Yep. Well, I also feel like I've learned from my years in live production, stuff like this happened all the time. Stuff would break, stuff wouldn't work. Literally the minute you need it to function. And when you're leading a team of people, there's just no scenario where freaking out helps. And I've been in those scenarios on the receiving end where people have lost their cool, and it makes everyone feel awful. It makes everyone lose. So I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I learned from those years. It's just like, hey, like those situations aren't fun, but they are workable, they are solvable. And you guess what? Like if something does just flat out go wrong, then it goes wrong. Like it's okay. A lot of people have grace, a lot of people have understanding, and you just do your best for next time. You learn and you figure it out. So like, yeah, those experiences have gone a long way. So that when you get to moments like this, it's like, oh yeah, okay, so we don't have a microphone. What are we going to do about it? That's all it is. Simple equation.
You just got to be a chill guy.
Yeah. If I had that dog, I'd cue it up.
Tanzania said it turned out great regardless. Thank you so freaking much. I love this one. If you didn't tell us, we would have never known.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yep. That's the key.
The most important question, did you guys take a minute to enjoy the moment in that beautiful place?
Mhm.
I wish I would have done more, Tamara. I did, but in hindsight, I do wish I could have soaked it up more. It was tricky because we were kind of on a tight window. We were kind of just setting up the entire time, and then before you know it, we're like, oh my god, it's almost 8:30. It's almost
Mhm.
showtime. But afterwards, I would say that was the biggest, like the biggest exhale of the entire week, month.
Yep.
It was like, okay, we did it. I didn't like act a fool. I felt like it went well. And yeah, I stopped and kind of looked around and really did try to soak it in as much as I can. So yeah, I think I did. I did. I wish I would have had more time. Maybe this is just a sign for us to come back and really soak it in. You know, like no work, all play.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah. There were definitely a few moments that I where I did stop to look around and just kind of take it in. But I also knew there was a flowing undercurrent that was like, hey, get back to it. You got stuff to do. Let me give you guys a little bit of a look into like what our time frame was. So we scheduled to be in the facility from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. So it was a long day. And we blocked out a loose schedule of 2 hours to set up, load in and set up, which was a gross misunderrepresentation of what it actually was. But the show start was at 8:30 p.m. rock solid. Because Dr. Bauer had kind of a hard out at like 10 o'clock or so. So we were like, okay, well, it's got to be 8:30. Like, can't push it back. So we gave ourselves an exceptional buffer from about 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. where we're like, let's break for dinner. Well, let's do like a live stream on social media. Let's like, let's have some fun in between and take the time. But we ended up using all of that time for setup and dialing things in. Like we were set up pretty well, but like honing in and troubleshooting, we took all the rest of that time. We finally got things locked in at about 7:45, 8 p.m., about 30 minutes before the show. So like it always goes that way with productions. It will always take more time, and certainly if it's the first time doing it in a certain way, like we were in a new place with new people and new equipment, attempting to do new things we've never done before. So all of those parameters scream, hey, you're gonna need more time than you allocated for it. So we used every minute we had and we got there. We always do. But it was, that schedule changed quite a bit, and again, that's okay. Like we had the window. If we had showed up at like 6 p.m. and just trusted, oh yeah, 2 hours will be fine, we would have been up 7 different creeks and the show would not have happened. But I was just glad we gave ourselves basically half a day to get that whole thing running. Yep.
Yeah. So much to do, such a tight window. So I mean, time is just, you just want to maximize your time as much as possible. And I think we did a good job.
Yep. So the answer is yes. I did take some moments to stop and look around and take it in. I took a couple extra pictures which side note, we're going to show you guys some BTS, some behind the scenes photos in a little bit. We'll be happy to showcase that for you guys, and you can see some of that. Not a ton, but we do have some. And yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun. Go ahead, Tan.
Yeah, it'll be cool, kind of to show you guys what it kind of looked like outside of what you guys saw.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even get to look to the scope.
Yeah.
We'll save that for next time.
Yeah.
One, it was cloudy, but two, kind of like what you were saying, Nick, we had a really tight window and Dr. Bauer had a hard stop. So we didn't want to be like, hey, could you also show us and do all this stuff, you know? Maybe next time.
That question though, RDJ, that was one of the most common questions we had asked leading up to the show in the weeks leading up was, can we have a view through the big telescope live on the show? Believe me, we both would have loved to make that happen. Not only for our own enjoyment, but for all of you guys. We would have loved to make that happen. When actually thinking about it, the list of variables that would have come into play to even make that possible is so long. It would have completely overtaken the whole entire rest of the technicality of the show, which already was buckets loads of attention that we didn't even have to some degree. So I'm really, really glad this time that we didn't have that. If we ever go back and they say we can do that, I would allocate at least another half a day just to get that one thing working. But I could give you a list of reasons why we couldn't do it. But I can give you at least one reason that, hey, we did want to do it. It would have been really, really cool. But like Tan said, it was cloudy. Like we actually, even if we wanted to, we couldn't. And we were thinking like, well, what would we even show? Because, you have to have a camera that can resolve something from the night sky. And the only thing I think that would have been worth showing would be the moon. And the moon was rising literally as the show started. So it was at the horizon. So like, not like the moon was high. So like, again, the list. It would have been
wanted to, y'all. Yeah.
Inopportune.
Definitely.
It was just inopportune.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future or at another observatory that might be more well equipped to accommodate that,
Yeah, like what Tanzanite says.
Yeah, exactly.
More in-person podcasts. Someone suggested a like an observatory tour, and I think that would be so cool if we could just do that again. Yeah, I don't know. I think the seed has been planted, and and we'll see.
Yep,
we'll see.
Speaking of reasons also why that wouldn't work, my video switcher only has 4 inputs and we had 4 camera shots. So we wouldn't even have had space for a 5th unless we were to choose to omit a shot. And at this point, creatively, I thought the first shot to go would have been the telescope shot if we were considering it. I think the visual storytelling, having the 3 standard interview shots and then the 4th creative shot, which was that ultra wide of the whole room, I felt like that mattered more, having that extra view. Which, let's talk about that. That was actually pretty interesting because I used a 14 millimeter astro lens for that really wide room shot where you could see us and like half the telescope. We were backed up all the way to the edge of the room and you still couldn't get the whole telescope in the shot with us.
Massive.
Like we would have needed a fisheye lens to achieve a shot like that. So that was something that changed from my initial read, was like, oh yeah, that 14 is gonna be wide enough. We'll get everything in there. Nope. Not even close. But it was still a really cool shot. I think it turned out, but that was just something that I was like, oh yeah. Like if we ever want to do something like that, we need to make sure we have got like a 10 millimeter
little fisheye. Yeah. I think the shot that we did use is probably the closest that we can allow you guys to see. I mean, it really doesn't do it justice, but it's the closest that we can get. In person, though, it is absolutely almost terrifying at first.
Yeah.
Just to look at it, and the first thing I thought was, holy crap. I remember just walking in there, and sure, I've seen videos of it, I've seen images of it, and I know that it's one of the largest. But just walking in there and seeing it for the first time with your own eyeballs, dude, my heart like sank. I was like, that's scary looking, dude. It is really, really big. It feels like you're looking at Megatron's arm.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's so massive. It's terrifying.
I actually took video of Tan walking in for the first time because I knew that was going to be a cool moment. I had been there before, but it's been a couple years, so I knew what to expect. But I walked in first and then turned around and got video of Tan and Kiffer walking in. So I could show that in on the stream here in just a little bit. So you guys should
Okay.
stick around to make sure you see that. I'll show Tan's reaction.
Sweet.
But it is your Megatron's arm. That's hilarious. I love that. It's, it is definitely the case. Ugh.
Ah,
Like hair on my mouth. Ugh, sorry about that.
from the haircut. Save it for later.
Gosh.
Tanzanite says there's an observatory in Des Moines. It's in the middle of a cemetery.
Okay.
Shall we go? Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe.
I don't know. Do you have the name?
Yeah, what's the name?
What's the name?
That's is that Idaho or Iowa?
Iowa.
Idaho. Iowa?
Iowa. Yep.
I something.
Du Boise, Idaho.
The Boise.
Yep.
Love it.
Drake.
Drake Observatory.
Oh, it's at is that Drake the school?
The rapper.
No.
She used to call me on the cell phone.
Got me on the telescope.
Dude, why don't we just pull out the photos? We can talk about the behind the scenes.
Sure. Yeah, let me cue this up for you guys. Hang on.
We got some stuffs.
Let's see. There we go.
Late night when you need my love, call me on my cell phone. I know in the hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. Look at that photo, man.
So good. Why is it so good? All right, you guys, we're gonna here's a little tour. So if you guys are tuning into the audio episode, we are showing some photos here visually. So be sure to come back to the video episode of and check it out visually. So here's me, Tan, and Kiffer. Kiffer is our friend. He's got the purple hair there, right outside. So you get a sense for the scale of the building. And, you know, the big dome, that's where we were. So it's a short walk up these little stairs, and then you're going up another flight of stairs to get all the way up there, which after loading in, you know, a metric keister ton of gear, you know, no shortage of effort, but beautiful, ornate architecture, you know, late 1800s, you know, like late 19th century architecture, beautiful. And there's really just few places like this at all. You know, maybe on the East Coast where the country's a bit older, but in the Midwest where the country's slightly younger, not much. There's not much like this, you know.
Mhm.
Gorgeous building.
Yeah, take note or try to look at the architecture, like all the little details. I don't know if we have a close up, but there's so many faces and little I don't know, gargoyle looking things.
There's like
just
animals. Like
Yeah,
lions
just
and-
beautiful
Mhm.
everywhere. Yeah, it was massive.
And you guys remember too in the show, Dr. Bauer told us that this used to be a building that belonged to the University of Chicago, which is about 2 hours away. So this was a school building. So if you go into any college campus and, you know, walk into a science lab or a building that was kind of maybe like one of the original buildings on campus, this is the equivalent of that. There are classrooms, there's offices, you know, it's a school building. It's for a university. So it has that vibe. You feel like you're walking into some historic school and like Hogwarts. But for
Hogwarts.
astronomy.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
How many people were behind the scenes, Tamara asks, that probably made you guys a little nervous too? That's a really good point. So for all of setup, it was the three of us. We had a connection for Yerkes. She was the project manager. She was with us, but she didn't assist with the setup. Literally, it was just us three. Joe came later, and he was able to kind of help cover some of those like loose ends, which was great. So we technically had four with us, but this was it. And to answer that or to comment on that, probably made you guys nervous too. Yes and no. I would say no, because between the three of us, we all have production experience. So cumulatively, we had everything that we needed to make the day happen. So I was confident in that. The unknowns, there were certain unknowns, like we had some new equipment that none of us had used before. And that's where the question marks come in and maybe add a little bit to the nerves. But I knew between the three of us, we could solve just about any problem that we came across.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me skip ahead. Let's keep moving. Hang tight. There's Keffer. So we had this mixer. He was running audio for us. So he was kind of balancing the stream audio and monitoring the stream from his laptop and communicating with us the donations. So we had a little tech booth in the back for him, and that mixer is brand new. And I only used it 1 week on the stream before this, and there was a lot to learn with it. And we did figure out most of it, but it's an incredibly powerful tool. But it was necessary because we needed 4 mic inputs, and my previous device, my Focusrite only has 2. So like it's this little red box. This is what I've been rocking. Here, I'm going to switch back over to me real quick. This little thing was the little audio interface I've been using for the last 2 years on this show. And it's great, but it only has 2 mic ports. So when we have another guest, what do? Like, we literally had to buy new equipment just to make the show happen. If we didn't have it, one of us would have been micless or sharing a mic, which is obviously less than ideal. So
yeah,
those are some of the learnings too.
Yeah, Kiffer was a huge help. Super grateful for him.
There we go. Yeah, he was great. I was so relieved to have him there. Hang on, go back. Okay, so here's just a shot looking up at the telescope, being like right under it. You don't really have the human for scale, but it does look really intricate. Yeah. There's a lot of little pieces and parts on it, but it's just a piece of equipment. It's a giant piece of equipment. You know, it's kind of like when you're looking at a construction crane. It's just huge. Yeah. And when you look at it, you're like, I wouldn't know how to run that thing. You know, so get somebody smarter than me in here. You know,
it felt like looking at a rocket, dude.
Yes,
it's massive
energy. I mean, that tower, the blue tower there, it's like 3 stories or 4 stories high. You know, It's not small. Here's the perspective from where Tan and I were sitting. So you guys, this is what we saw when we were streaming.
Yeah.
So you got that tech booth in the back here. Let me pinch and zoom here. You guys see this? So there's Kiffer and Joe. But we got
bada boom, bada bing.
We had 3 cameras, a mass of wires and cables. That center shot was on a slider, which we borrowed from somebody that I work with, and that thing was super fun. I love using it.
Almost didn't work.
Yeah, we had
almost didn't work
with it.
Yeah.
It's true. We had a confidence monitor on the floor so we could watch the stream on a bigger screen, and so Dr. Bauer could see what was happening on the program as it was rolling. We had lights everywhere. You know, it kind of made for a big thing. Here's from the side. So this is with nobody in it, but you can see all the layout and all the mess of stuff that's kind of behind the scenes. We got those tube lights giving us some color. We had 4 panel lights lighting us from the top and front just to make sure that you guys could see us at all, because we knew we were setting up during the day, but the show was at night. So the only light in the room was coming from these little incandescent bulbs, these little Edison bulbs off the side of the wall. You can see those orange ones. But the windows were pitch black at night. So we had to basically provide 97 to 98% of the light in the room, I would say, you know. So we had to think very actively on how we were going to counter the darkness, because the room is built to be a dark zone. Like, it's literally meant to not have light to obscure that telescope. So we had to come up with ways to make the shots look good. But this is behind the scenes. This is literally the setup. Here we go. There's me and Tan with Dr. Bauer and Emily, who is our Yerkes rep. She was great. We just made sure we got some photos after, which was we felt was super important. Here's the gang. We took some silly ones. But seriously, Joe and Kiffer, it was so great having them there. Even just for the energy and to feel that support.
Mhm.
It added that extra layer of fun. Here's me and Tan just hanging out. We thought we would just take a little shot before we tore everything down. And I took this shot on the way out. This is the library that's just off to the side of the building. Beautiful room. And this was like really important to me to take a shot of this because it just gives that academic energy. So this is probably where we would have done the show if it was raining in the observatory, in my opinion.
That's a cool photo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see it in the light, but I did snoop around and kind of try to look at it as much as I could.
Mm-hmm. We found Einstein. Oops.
He was just hanging out in the corner.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out by himself.
If you guys remember, Albert Einstein visited Yerkes in 1921. So they have these. It's a very proud thing for Yerkes. So they have these cardboard stand-ups. I heard they had 3 of them, and Tan found one chilling in this the nook that you can see off to the right there, that dark nook. And so he grabbed it and we took some photos with it.
He was cool, chat. He was cool.
Yep. As we loaded out, it took us probably about an hour and a half to tear down and load out everything to the cars, down to the last piece of tape. But I took one last shot as we're walking out of the room. So see how dark it is? Like my camera on my phone was compensating for it, but just those little like wall lights was all that's in there. Like it's a really, really dark room, but I had to get that dead silent. No one's in here. Astronomical monstrosity just to get one more shot of it, totally worth the moment. Very, very cool.
Man, just looking at these, I'm ready to go back. I want to go back.
Let's go, dude.
Let's go. Just like book a normal tour. I want to attend and experience it as any person would when they go visit.
Yeah. And then same thing when we were outside and we load up the car, the moon was just peeking out of these clouds. There was a little gap, and I took this night shot on my phone of the moonlit dome. Like the lighting off to the left, that white light on the dome is moonlight. But I thought this was just cool, taking one last shot as we were walking away. It said it all. The building speaks for itself. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm end the share. There was one more photo I did want to find that Tan shared with me, and I don't think I sent it over to myself. So bear with me for a second. But what do you guys think? I haven't seen the chat here in a little while.
I'll read some of the chat here.
Yeah, go for it, Tan.
So unfortunately, no, we didn't get any deep dish pizza. What did we eat? We had ramen. Wait,
ramen?
Yeah, we had ramen. Ramen was the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, no pizza, no gift shops. Did she show you those glass plate images she was talking about? No. Again, JC, there just simply wasn't enough time. We'll most likely get to experience that if we go visit, which I'm sure we will. But yeah, there's just so much to do, and I feel like no matter how much I try to describe the place, it truly is just one of those places that you have to visit whenever you get a chance. You just gotta see it with your own eyes. But there's a vibe to it. It's like an ancient vibe, but really cool. Thank you, Tanzanite. Yeah, it is kind of neat to be able to show you guys like behind the scenes, because a lot of times you kind of see like the finished product, or you see Nick and I sitting here, but I'll be honest with you, on this side of the screen, it's pretty messy. I got a bunch of storage boxes, got stuff laying around everywhere, but over here looks clean. Same with our podcast. I felt like, maybe it did look really good, but behind it, there's cables, lights. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just no one gets to see. So we're happy to share that with y'all.
You guys would be surprised. Almost everything you've ever seen on TV or in a movie, what's off frame is most likely an absolute disaster, or at the very least an organized disaster. But there's so much happening on screen or off screen that you guys never see. Bounce boards, block, light block thing. Like there's just cable messes, equipment, there's people. It gets really, really intense just to make sure that the shot looks good. And this was no exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Ed, I saw the same number. I have yet to go back into the analytics and look on YouTube, but 91 was the same peak concurrent viewer number that I saw during the moment.
Yeah, we were super close. We had a goal of hitting 100 people, so we were just a little bit shy. Big shout out to Princess Tamara.
Yo, let's
Thank
feature
you
that.
so much.
Thanks for the super sticker.
Mernie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much, Tamara.
Okay, I wanted to show this picture. This is us in my garage loading out. We took 2 cars, and this was most of the equipment, but not all of it. But we had so many boxes and so many cases and just random things that we had to bring. It really was a jam-packed jam kind of moment. If it fits, it ships. But if you want to know what it takes to make that show happen, you need all this gear.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
just
just a laptop,
so much stuff there.
And most of it was mine, but it was supplemented by some tan stuff and Kiffer stuff. Another friend who provided some bonus cables that we didn't have, and then another friend who I work with who has a ton of professional video equipment that we use to supplement. We had 2 extra cameras, the slider, a couple bundles of lights, like things like that. So it was a smattering of 5 different people piling in stuff down to the last cable, just to make sure we had enough power or had the correct power for lights, so just to make sure that the things look good. But this is all it. So I thought this was just one of those BTS shots that kind of says it all. Pretty cool. Oh, and I forgot too. Hang on. I'm gonna share a different window here. This is the last grouping of pictures. We did do some kind of like portraits at the end of the show.
Model photo shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, Tan and I did do some. We had the nice cameras and the nice lighting. We're like, let's do some nice shots. I cropped these. We do have bigger photos, but we did take them. And I'm really happy with how they turned out. So we thought we'd share them with you guys. So hang tight. So let's skip ahead here. We had this one too.
Yeah, dude.
We were saying some pretty funny things to get those natural smiles out.
I was also crouching down on all of these photos, by the way, guys.
That or I was on an Apple box, one of the two.
Yo, Tanzanite.
Whoa.
Mernie.
Thank you very much.
Love you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the super sticker.
Appreciate it, guys.
Shout out to Tan for providing these blazers for us. You want to explain those, Tan?
Yeah. So these were the jackets that I specifically bought for Live Fest when TikTok was supposed to send your boy out to Los Angeles early this year, but they canceled, and I was like, well, now I'm stuck with these 2 really nice blazers, and just I don't know, haven't had the opportunity to rock them yet. So I just felt like this episode would have been perfect to just wear them, and somehow it worked out where it actually fit Nick too. So so it might be hard to tell, but Nick's jacket, this was kind of like so cool. It's like this really nice I don't know, like suede kind of material, but it's actually got stars all over it, and on the inside there's constellations. Really, really sick jacket. And then of course mine is just it looks like a spacesuit. It's a space blazer. And on the inside it has some really cool like space facts too. But yeah, we just thought it would be fitting to kind of look nice. You guys know my wardrobe. It's literally just like plain t-shirts or like a hoodie. I'm usually like really comfortable wearing Crocs, I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to wear Crocs and a t-shirt for the show. Maybe I wanted to look nice, a little bit nice. So yeah, we decided to dress up.
Fun fact too.
JC, that's so funny, bro. Where do we order wallet size of those pictures?
Yeah. Maybe we should this okay, this is it. This is how we're funding the program going forward. We'll just sell pictures of us. Forget the podcast.
Money.
Fun fact though, because these jackets were tans, they were both two different sizes, and one was my size, one was tan size. But Tan had these tailored to him.
Yeah.
And you guys can kind of tell in the stream, but this is a fun fact. The sleeves were extra short on me.
Yeah.
they're like halfway at my arm. So that was just different because we just have different arm lengths. So but it wasn't like that noticeable, but it was one of those things that was
We
like,
had different leg lengths too, bro.
wait, we do?
It worked out. Yeah.
Yep.
It worked out.
There's one more here. Here's a little bit more of
Yeah.
it's like some GQ stuff, you know.
With a little light in the background, man.
Mm-hmm. So we thought you guys would
We did
enjoy,
solo.
you know, yeah, seeing some of these BTS photos.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
But yeah, all right, say goodbye. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was one other situation where I was probably the one time I actually felt like I was sweating. The tension of, oh my gosh, this could be really detrimental. So probably about 2 hours before, we were doing a stream test behind the scenes to make sure everything worked. Because like I said, we have a brand new mixer. We were running 4 cameras. We had 3 separate video rolls that we were doing. So I was like, I gotta make sure all the audio is balanced and make sure everything is dialed in with that. None of the exports for the videos were hitching or causing problems. But that's exactly what happened. We had crackling mics and we had videos playback that was just chugging. It was not smooth. It was chunky.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was unviewable. And I'm like, why is this happening? Like everything is plugged in properly. The lines are traced. Everything is there. Like, what could possibly be contributing to this? But the fact that we had this new mixer, the amount of data passing through my USB hub that going into my MacBook Pro, I think it was overload, which I was astonished by because these MacBook Pros with the silicon chips are like wickedly powerful. They can run like 4 8K monitors, no problem. It's nuts. And then here it was, it was chugging. So I spent time trying to figure it out and I couldn't find a solution. And that's the one moment where I felt internally, I was like, okay, I'm sweating because if I can't solve this, like I literally have no clue what we're going to have to cut to just make the stream smooth, because right now it is not smooth. And keeping a cool head paid off, because literally all it was I just moved the USB cable for the mixer, the audio source, away from the hub and directly into the laptop, and it solved it 100%. So it literally bypassing a piece of equipment in the workflow, like the pipeline, was all we needed to do. But I was getting scared there for a moment because I was like, I literally have no clue what's going to happen if I cannot solve this, and every minute matters. So that was a fun little story where we had a near miss there. Unplanned, unpredictable, but it happened, you know?
Yeah. Figure it out, man. I would have just thrown it at the wall and just hope for the best.
Right. Smash it.
Yeah.
This makes me wonder that we've talked a lot about like the gear. What about the experience in the program? Like the conversation? How do you feel like that went?
I enjoyed it overall. That, you know, there are a few things that I wish I could have like worded differently, but yeah, I thought it went well. I felt like you did a really good job of kind of just like keeping us on track and kind of like guiding the way too. I mentioned this before, but sometimes I kind of like just like sitting in the not in the sidelines, but almost just kind of piggybacking, or at least like letting you take the lead. And I just felt like you had some really, really incredible questions. And to be honest, she did such a good job of communicating that I honestly wouldn't have cared if she just talked the entire time. I I truly felt like I could have just sat there and just listened to her talk about anything at all. and it would have been enjoyable because she was quick, man. She was quick. She was sharp. She just everything she said was like so clear and concise, and it was just you couldn't help but just admire that. So yeah, those are my thoughts. She did awesome. I think we did great, but man, I could listen to her talk about anything.
Agreed. Yeah. Like I said before, there were some nerves playing into gear in the first like 25, 30 minutes for me. And that certainly affected, I feel like, the way I communicated. I stuttered and stammered more than I usually do. There was a few moments where I was like, I don't know the words that are coming out of my mouth because I'm so in the moment that I don't feel like I'm thinking ahead a couple of words. So that was a little bit tricky. Another thing that played into the conversation though was, and we mentioned this on stream, was the echo chamber of the room. We were not able to wear headphones, so we were audible to the environment we were in, and the echo and the reverberation is intoxicating because it is just so constant and long. It's just there's no sound dampening, so it's just wood and metal and irregular shapes, so the sound never dies. Like you want carpet or something to like have the sound waves die, but it literally just kept going. So every word, every little and okay or yep, like was enough to shake the room with noise. Like talking and thinking was so hard, but also listening, because you're listening to Dr. Bauer give these amazing answers and you want to respond. But I realized there's some moments where I was like, and when I said in response, the whole room I could hear myself for the next like 2 or 3 seconds, which disturbed my thoughts, probably disturbed her thoughts. And like, there's this delay that you have to account for. And it took a long time to get over, but we eventually got used to it.
Yeah. Me just saying, after everything, I'm like, oh, God, that's so loud. It's on a microphone.
I felt like the flow of the conversation went really well. We went in knowing there was gonna be a structure of let's get to know her, let's talk about the past, present, and future, and then we'll wrap it up. We got 90 minutes tight. We'll stick to the program, but yet keep it natural. We didn't have a list of questions in front of us. Let's be clear about that. We literally every question we asked was in our heads or off the dome. So that kept things feeling real and not scripted, which was something we didn't want to do. Was we don't want to feel like, hey, we just okay. Question number 3: what's your favorite color? Like just it's like so boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, she was able to carry so much of it, and I'm glad, because I said at the top of the episode to her, I said, "We're glad you're here. Please make us look bad." Like literally said that to her. And I'm glad she did. She did make us look bad. Like it's the whole point of a guest is to make the hosts, by comparison, our job, Tan's job and my job is to make the guest look good, right? And by us not being PhD astronomers, boom.
It was a nice contrast, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we kept things moving. We got through the agenda. We got through the program, and I felt like I was smarter at the end of it, and I certainly hope you guys do too.
Yeah. Feel free to let us know if you have any other questions too. Richard Jones, when did the crown thing start? I think that's super new. This is the first time I've seen it, so let's just say sometime between last week and now.
Yep.
This is news for me too.
To the best of my estimation, the crowns, I think, recognize who was first, second, and third to comment in the live chat. I could be wrong, but what at the top of the show and people were calling attention to it, that's what I was able to gather. But I think you're right. It's probably something brand new on YouTube's end.
We're only going to pay attention to the crowns.
Yeah.
One thing, if I were to think of like another thing that I guess was a concern of mine, just to be super transparent, it was the donations. Obviously, a big part of this stream was to help raise money for Yerkes. And anytime you set a goal, whether it's for yourself or anyone, there's always going to be like, oh man, like I hope I get it. And also, there's the fear of not reaching that goal, right? So naturally, I don't know about you, Nick, but I was like, I really want to hit this goal. And if we don't, sure, it's gonna suck. Um, I would be grateful for any bit of money that we raise. But sure, if you set a goal and you fall short of it, there's that kind of like bummer, you know. And man, I can't emphasize how thankful I am that everyone came in and just contributed. And I really hope that there wasn't like any like pressure for anyone to do so. There was a lot of people there, and everyone that helped chip at it was just absolutely incredible. And honestly, you guys, all of you guys collectively smashed a goal and more. So I will say I felt really, really excited and relieved after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. That was a complete unknown.
yeah,
We've never done a fundraiser before, and
mhm.
that alone is just a pressure just stacked right on top of all the things we've already talked about. So,
Yeah, dude.
you know, it just it's something we had to let the wind take care of. The wind was going to blow whatever direction it wanted to
Mhm.
on that front. And if we earned $1 and we were able to donate $1, then great. That's $1 they didn't have, and we were going to be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, just even as a joke, I mean, I was like, man, what if we don't get any donations at all? Like, it's just you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, so be it. You know, like, hey, we tried. The video's gonna live on, and if there's someone else that sees a video in the future, hopefully they will consider it. You know, we also understand it's a big ask too. Like, it really
Mhm.
is. Like, money doesn't come by easy, and so we understand how um like how much it means just to even be able to give $1.
Mhm.
So again, just everyone that made it possible, you guys know who you are. Thank you.
Shout out to Mod James dropping a $5 super sticker in the chat. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Hit the button.
What?
Money,
Oh,
money.
yeah, I think I've been pressing it too much. I think it's broke.
It's broken. Oh
I think it's
no.
already broke. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, James. Thank you for supporting James.
the fundraising thing in general, that's been a topic on our heads for many months, probably half a year at this point. Was hey, in the future, maybe we can leverage the platform as a donation opportunity to give back to communities that we all believe in and support. So obviously,
Mm.
astronomy and astronomical research, you know, the museum level effort that Yerkes has, where they do tours and showcase things, history. Like, I was like, that would be so cool to get behind. And it's like, I think our community would too. So we kind of had to, this is our first run at it. And all of it was data for us to analyze, like, hey, can we do this again? Is this worth doing? How
Mhm.
to turn out? Um, you know, so I felt like it was a really good opportunity, and we hit the mark we hit, and it was fun.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally down to consider other establishments or other organizations or charities as well. Um, I bet you guys probably know on the top of your head quite a few other things that we could also donate to. So I don't know what that would look like. Obviously, we would try to tie in astronomy. Because if we could, we would just donate to every single one of them. But yeah, something that's close to us. Perhaps we can figure out how to like connect the dots in the future.
Mhm.
John says, I didn't know that you had two different ways to donate.
Mm.
Yeah, no worries. You such a pretty crazy contribution, so we are extremely thankful for that.
Mhm.
Next live, donate to the Tamara Dessert Fund. Sounds expensive.
Oh man.
Sounds expensive. If we're trying to keep up with Princess Tamara.
um, really quick before I forget, can I show that video of you walking into the observatory for the first
I
time?
haven't even seen this. Yeah, I'm kind of. Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, let me find it real quick. It's should be right here. It is. Um, okay. So let me share this. Hang tight. Okay, I gotta share the window and we'll be good. All right. Can you guys see this? There might
Tony,
be audio.
yo, we got another $5 sub, bro.
Hey,
Super.
thank
Dude,
you very much.
you so freaking much, bro. Everyone, Jen, was it Tanzanite, James, Starwalker, Richard Jones. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Harmony, you too.
you. Here, so I'm gonna play this. So these are the stairs that lead up in the observatory. So here's the experience of what it's like that you guys did not see. There should be audio. I think it's coming through for you guys. If not, that's okay. So there's Kiffer and Tan following me. Tan's tired.
Full panic mode.
We're all just on our phones, man. So Black Mirror coded.
Yep.
Look at this thing.
Look at Tan's face.
It's like me whenever I see spam.
Yep.
Doesn't it just have that like museum and old stuff smell? It's just like it's a feels like metal and paint. It smells like a ship, like a warship.
Look at that echo.
Yeah.
This is insane. It's like a huge cigarette.
Yeah, did you guys hear that clap? Is there audio coming through?
Yeah, Kiffer smacked my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you can just hear that thing just fly throughout the entire place.
I want to hear it again. Here we go.
Old stuff smell. It's just like it's a feels like metal and paint. It smells like a ship, like a warship. You know.
Crack that whip. Yeah.
Cool. It's
Awesome.
a cool video. But Tan's face said it all, you guys.
Oh, you guys sent me that video, bro. That was cool.
It's in the album I made.
Okay, sweet.
You
Nice.
should have it.
No.
Yeah. There was definitely a longer list of stuff that I can think of that I would love to like continue to debrief. I think the last thing I would have was there were occasional things where I didn't know what to say. Or you just have those regrets sometimes when you're in that high pressure of like the hot seat. You're in the hot seat. And I think post event for the next like 24 to 36 hours or so, I had what that phenomenon is called vulnerability hangover, where you either have a hard conversation or a vulnerable conversation or a moment in your life that's like such intensity where you feel very exposed. You sort of can't shake this feeling of the, oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing. I messed that up. I messed that up. I messed that up. Everyone probably thought I was a wreck. Like you go through all of those mental things, which I know is super normal, but I probably spent the next day and a half stuck in that loop of like convincing myself that this thing that I said was so dumb. I should never have said that. Like all those things were going through my head, which is crazy. But that's one of those like behind the scenes things that most people don't realize that happen for people on screen. Is you go through that. It's a natural human thing, and probably some more than others. And the more you do that, these kinds of efforts, the less that is. Like I don't have that during a normal stream, but I totally get it in those moments where everything is like really high stakes. So that vulnerability hangover lasts for a while. About 2 days after I shook it, and I was like, no, you know what? This show was fantastic. It was great. And I rewatched it, and I was like, that was great. That wasn't as bad as I thought. I sounded more coherent than I gave myself credit for. It's just one of those things that crossed my mind. So that's my last note is, if you guys ever, do something like this, like I think it's a normal experience to feel that sensation.
Mm-hmm. You just got to do the best you can.
Yep.
Smelling like Einstein's old gas. What the hell, bro? I don't know why I read that one.
Wait, what?
That was just the first comment I saw.
Oh
Nick
my
was
gosh.
too stunned to speak. I have not yet. Artie Jones. Do they have any pictures of the place being built? I'm sure they do. You can probably find a bunch of them online.
Gosh, I wonder if I have one handy because there was one that I used in the promo video. So if you guys actually go to my YouTube and look up the announcement video we did, there's a clip of it being built in 1895 or a little bit earlier. So the two domes on the side are not complete in that shot. So at least go to that video and you can find it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
In the end of the day, you guys did amazing, and what a beautiful experience you guys got. Only 49 episodes left for 100. Ooh, man, that's a big one. We're gonna have to do something pretty crazy, right? We're gonna have to try to top, or if anything, at least be on the same level as episode 50.
Yep. It's like I mean, the scales have tipped like in favor of that, leaning towards 100 now. We're officially on the other side, a little bit heavier. That's a pretty cool perspective.
Okay. You guys might have to come up. You guys might have to help us figure out what that would look like.
Also, side note, Blue Eyed, what is that in your profile picture?
What the heck?
That's a best friends.
How do I?
I can't zoom in anymore on my end. Share with the class. What does that say? Did you already edit a picture of us? I'm
Yes,
not.
it says best friends. That's
really
so funny.
100th episode has to be epic. Try to interview Katy Perry, says JC. Yeah.
Ooh.
International episode, says Tamara.
Okay.
And by 100, you'll have a Netflix special. Gosh, can you imagine us clowns having a Netflix special? Goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah. Imagine all the nerves that we had for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Just multiplied by 100.
It's a pillow? I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. Holy cow. Then again, your thumbnail is like smaller than my thumbnail. So I can't tell.
A rocket launch would be cool. International podcast would be cool. Another observatory could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's possibilities are endless. So many things that we can do.
Yep.
Tan just got his passport. I can travel.
Dude, that's awesome news. That's great.
Yeah, I lost my old one and just never got a replacement. So finally just had to do it. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's cool. Yeah,
A Brian Cox interview would be crazy.
Ooh, oh yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah, talking about a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Tan and I have already begun discussions about the future. You know, the next couple milestones, 75 and 100. What does that mean? Where do we even start? Do we even do anything? Like, literally, every option is an option. So we're excited to continue those conversations very soon here, and keep working towards the next thing. But also, we don't want to lose sight of the episodes in between. You know, there's a lot of fun and a lot of learning to be had from episode 52 and on.
Yeah, we just half-ass all the episodes leading up to the 100th episode.
Just really, we have like a
2-minute podcast.
Yeah, just these like little junk episodes. And then just
start posting our old ones. Yeah,
reposting the old ones.
Anything just to get the number count up, man.
Yeah. Well, welcome to episode 53, where we're gonna bring back Andrew McCarthy and then just let's roll the video, and it just recycles whatever episode he was on.
Technically, we brought him back.
Oh, jeez.
Richard Jones really wants us to do the rocket launch.
Yeah,
I really want to. No joke. I've never been to a launch. I would love to see it. And I think it sounds like we might have some connections too. There's several people that I know that are kind of out that way and could provide us like a pretty good viewing spot if we were to stream or do a podcast or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
We could do it.
JC says 100th episode, we could have a musical guest to perform during an intermission.
That's a
Dude.
really great idea.
Let's get Lil Wayne, bro.
Little Wayne.
Yeah, there. Yeah, let's get Lil Wayne just to rap about rockets and stuff in between.
Yeah, him and Weird Al.
Ooh, the Wombo combo.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But seriously, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, very good idea.
Star Walker says dark sky site. Okay, that could be cool too. Yeah. You know that one episode where I was streaming the lyrics and I kind of popped in and showed like what the setup looked like on my end. I wonder if there's a way we can do something like that where it's you and I actually doing a podcast in some of the darkest skies in the country, you know?
Mhm.
It would probably be pretty challenging.
It
But,
would be
maybe.
like episode 22 where we were by you
At the
only
park.
at the astronomy park. The benefit is we had power, you know.
Yeah.
Not that it's impossible to be out in the middle of nowhere, but we need to have generators loaded out there just to that, you know, not impossible, just extra steps.
Yeah.
But having like a live sky shot would be the kicker for that, because I know we wanted to try that when I was in Missouri, but that I think it was cloudy that night and stupid windy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
Yeah.
dark sky, I wonder, should we tell them about next week? Because we're doing stuff next week's
Sure.
episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, guys, we're gonna be Nick and I are gonna be doing something cool. We are going to be in Joshua Tree, Southern California. We're gonna be spending about a week out there, and I mean, honestly, like there's so much to do. We haven't really, filled out the itinerary yet, but just know that we're gonna be out under the stars. This is gonna be my first, I would say, my first real Milky Way adventure this year. So really excited for it, and yeah, that means we'll continue our live streams as normal, but we'll be out in Joshua Tree. So don't know what that looks like yet, but just know that next week's episode, it's going to be away from home for both of us.
2 weeks out, actually. Next week we're normal.
Oh, 2 weeks out. Yep. 2 weeks out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it'll be
That's
cool.
right. Yeah. Yeah. You're
Yep.
pulling up. Dude, sure. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we'll be streaming from there, but we'll probably be traveling, or we'll be out there with like a travel kit. So it will be way less produced than even this. It'll look a little bit more ramshackle, patched together, but
Yeah.
we'll be in a unique location. Way less pressure than Yerkes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just even hold up our phones like selfie style the whole time.
We'll
We'll just be watching us like Zoom or FaceTime each other.
Yeah.
But should be cool though.
Really quick, Carter, I saw jumped in here. What's up, dude? Sounds like infrared or red light cameras or not. Yeah, I think for night sky shots, you could totally do like a night vision cam. Tan's got one. We probably might be the best way to go about it.
That would be, because like that way they could see us, but we wouldn't be blinded by actual light. It would still be dark,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Alex got some gifts for us. He's out that way. Maybe you can meet up with us for dinner or something.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, if anyone wants to hang out in Joshua Tree, we'll be out there. We'll be out in LA pretty soon here.
Crazy. Yeah. So we got some fun things coming up.
Mhm.
And we are in the process of booking a couple of guests that are of a very, very special caliber, and we're excited about them. Both have said yes, but we're working on dates. So
Yep.
This summer is already kind of like amped up,
Yeah.
for some of these things. And we can't wait to share these two guests that we've got coming up.
It's Theo Vaughn.
No. Yeah.
Dude, we gotta try to get Theo Vaughn on the show.
Be amazing.
It would be so random, but it would be incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, just we don't want to say too much, but two for sure really exciting guests. Hopefully a lot more. Have already got the green light. We just got to figure out the dates. So stay tuned for that. Also, if you guys have any connections, like if you know someone, or maybe there's someone in the family who used to work at NASA, or anything that has any tie to astronomy, space, whatever, please make that connection. We are happy to consider those as well. Word of mouth is extremely helpful. And yeah, like I said, if you guys know someone that you think would be a good fit for the show, let us know. Shoot us an email.
I actually did realize that we do have a guest. He already showed up early for a future week. I didn't realize it was going to come this soon. Can I show guest really quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, hang on.
No way.
The Empire showed up a little bit early, so you guys shout out to the Stormtrooper.
W's in the chat for the Stormtrooper.
It's a little bit too far away, but
It's Nick's best friend.
there we go. I had to do it. Sorry.
I love it. That's a perfect spot where he's chilling at right now. He's just looking right at the camera. He's looking right at you.
I'm being held at gunpoint, dude.
Don't worry. He probably won't. He'll probably miss.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, sorry, Tans. That is not Nova. She's somewhere else. I don't know where she is. I had to showcase my latest edition. Tan was with me when I bought that last weekend. I found it and I was like, nope, I need that. I need a Stormtrooper, full size Stormtrooper.
We walked in and immediately I could just tell Nick he just knew he needed it. I knew he needed it.
I'm a little too excited about it.
Yeah. Final puzzle piece. Or one of many.
Yep. The smile is still like really big on me. I'm still too excited. Every time I walk in here, I'm like, whoa. Like, where'd you come from? Oh my gosh. Okay. Any final thoughts, or should we nuke this thing?
I think I'm good.
Cool.
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, then let's get on the PA here and make some announcements for next week.
You all, if you want to pull up next week, episode 52 will stream live right here on YouTube at 9 p.m. Central. So don't be late. Get a snack and get ready to learn about some space and astronomy. It'll be a great time.
9 p.m. next week. Next episode coming up. If you guys want to see more of our content, you can always find us at the Orbital Alliance and at Chasing the Milk on all social media platforms, where we share the things we capture and of the night sky and just like our creative thoughts. Tan streams a lot. You can hop in the streams there. We try to do what we can on all the platforms for you guys so you can learn about space in between the gaps. So be sure you find us there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for an incredible time. As always, seriously, can't say how thankful we are.
True story.
Contexto time? Yeah, maybe later. It's storming pretty hard out here, so I think after this I'm gonna do a little bit of meditation and just enjoy this nice little rainstorm that we got here.
For sure. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in with us this week. We appreciate you guys listening to our rants and learnings about our previous episode. Thank you for all the support through supers, views, and whatever it is. We'll be back with more jam-packed space and astronomy content next week on episode 52. Until then, you know the drill. We will see you all on the other side.